What if you're in a situation with maybe it's a friend and it's a spiritual struggle? Right now, your friend is in a place where they're struggling spiritually and they don't even know what tomorrow will hold and they're just downtrodden. And so sometimes, they're just too exhausted to carry their own faith. And it takes faith in this world, friend. Hello, my friend, and welcome to this solo Friday episode of A Call to Leadership. I'm your host, Dr. Nate Sala, and every Friday we spend time going through one tool for your leadership tool belt. It's just you and I in the trenches. And so we're focusing on this series, which is called What Effective Leaders Do. We're looking at characteristics, behaviors of effective leaders. We've looked at a number of them so far, and there are many characteristics we won't cover in this series, but this show is all about leadership and how we can aim for greatness, reach that pinnacle of serving others as we create an irresistible offer of a life. And so if you're joining me, this is your first time, so glad to have you on the program and just walking with me. My style is really just having a conversation around different aspects of how we grow as leaders and, of course, as followers. And so this series is very exciting. If you haven't listened to the other episodes in this series, I encourage you to go back after you've heard this and listen to those as well. Every Monday, we have our Business Monday episodes with my co-hosts, Travis and Sam, and every so often somebody else will jump in. Joe has jumped in a few times. And every Wednesday, I do what I call our Interview Wednesday, inspirational interviews from an expert in a certain aspect of leadership. Those are long form. They usually run at least an hour. And so those are super cool and love to have you join me for each and every one of these episodes. So here we are. What effective leaders do. Today, I want to talk about something that's really deep, something that has eluded leadership. Leadership can be said to be in crisis all around us. And the crisis of leadership, you look no further than your institutions, your education, your political spheres, your employment areas, places where people work, homes, families, communities. It's in crisis. Leadership is failing. And we need more than ever leaders to step up and embrace the call to effectiveness in leadership. And one of the ways we can do that, one of the important ways, and it's really difficult to do, is taking ourselves out of the equation as leaders. And you say, what does that mean, Nate? Taking myself out of the equation. It means walking in such a way that I'm not concerned about self-preservation. I'm not concerned about self-posturing, self-position, self-entitlement. I'm considering self-sacrifice. I'm considering what is most valuable in my journey as a leader. And the leaders who are effective are extremely focused on one thing, and that is, how can I embody the desire to reach the state, the mission, the vision, the value with others. It's not about me. In fact, I love Rick Warren's book, Purpose Driven Life. And he opens his book with that sentence, it's not about you. I absolutely love that, because as a leader, if I can make the journey not about me, I can make it about having the collective desire to have that, reach that state, that purpose, that destination, not because it's going to benefit me, but because it's worthy. The cause is worthy, and that's the focus. Effective leaders focus on the cause. They don't focus on, hey, everybody look at me. You know why? Because that's a distraction. It takes our eyes off of the prize. I'm not the prize as a leader. You're not the prize as a leader. The cause is the prize. And the worthiness of that cause makes it the prize. And so effective leaders, because they're not focused on themselves, they're able to take themselves out of the equation. And then you're compelled to make a decision as a follower to go where these leaders are going because you desire to go there, because it's attractive, because it's worthwhile, it's achievable. And so sometimes the most effective leaders in this state, because it's not about them, are also the most effective as influencers, as persuaders, because you're not so concerned about them selling you on an idea because it benefits them. Because when we have to sell people on ideas, it's an adversarial relationship. Because you're trying to take something from me, and I don't know if it's worthy, my time and or my money. Depends on what it is. And so this is a potential adversarial relationship. There's conflict there. And I'm having to size up this relationship. I'm having to size up economically if there's what we call utility or value. But effective leaders who take themselves out of the equation, it's not about me. I'm not going to sell you anything. I have no desire to sell you anything. What I have a desire to do is reach a future state that solves a current problem or illuminates an opportunity. And so the focus isn't on what I can sell to you. The focus is on how I can support you to reach the future state that you desire. So as I communicate it, because effective leaders are able to articulate what we either cannot articulate on our own or haven't illuminated to articulate on our own, or share something we have articulated on our own. And so what they're able to do is they're able to magnify and assemble a vision that's better in the future than the current is. And so then the effective leader isn't focused on me. The effective leader is focused on the vision. Here's where the future looks better, more attractive. Would you like to go there? Because that's where I'm going. And if it's attractive to you, then it's attractive to me. I'll give you an example. I recently had this incident to where I had this car that I was working on with my cousin, and we were trying to get the body off of the frame. It's called a frame off restoration. It was a classic car. And so we're taking this car apart, and we've got this car almost all apart, and we've come to a spot where we can't get it any further. And he's like, well, lift up on the front end of this car, and I'll try to get the rest of it off. I'm like, okay, I'm down. There's only one problem with that. I have double herniated back. So this is a decade ago, but every so often, if I don't bend at the knees, and I shouldn't be picking up cars anyway, my doctor will be like, what's going on? I'm going to have problems. Well, I did it anyway, right? Smart guy. And just a couple days later, guess what? Inflammation starts popping up, sciatic nerve, problems. I go to the physical therapist. And I say, hey, here's my situation. Physical therapist then shares, here's where you want to be. You want to be well. You want to be and be able to sleep at night. Honestly, trouble sleeping every night. Every time I turn, I wake up, lots of pain. I want to end that pain. And so the physical therapist says, Nate, here's what you have to do. We have to do these manipulations, these exercises, this particular setup to strengthen the core around your spine. Here are the exercises that you must do. And I have to make a choice. If I do those exercises, then the result is that I'll be in a better future state. The pain will have dissipated. And so what do? I do it, right? You say, Nate, okay, what's the big deal? That's a picture of leadership. This physical therapist, who's younger than me, by the way, a leader doesn't have to be older. They just have to know how to get to where you want to go and take you there. So day by day, there's a couple days on, a couple days off. And so sometimes I feel better, sometimes I wouldn't. But this physical therapist would not let me down. And we worked at it, and we're still working at it, and it's getting better and better and better. That's a picture. It's not about this particular individual. This individual's not like saying, hey, look at me. I'm the one who's going to solve all your problems. It's like, no, let's focus on where you desire to be and what steps need to happen to get you there. And as leaders, this particular leader took himself out of the equation and simply focused on the needed end result. And guess what? This leader wanted to get there too. And so we walked there together. He wants me to be whole. Did he have to sell me anything? No. He simply approached it from the position of, here is the vision of the future, because we have problems today. And let's help you walk through that. Now, this isn't a business environment. Perhaps it's at home. Maybe at home, you're having trouble with one of the kids. And one of the kids is not having a great time with mom or dad. I've had this situation many times. And I have to ask the question, what is the desired end state for all of us? What does a better future look like? So if I have an issue with my teenager and I say, this is the future you want. Here are the steps you have to take. This is the change you have to make to get to the future that you want. And then I will help walk you through. I will help you to reach that future state. So first it's this. If you're having trouble, illuminate that future state. This is what I think the future looks like for you, that the future you want. Is that the case? Is that true? Yes. If I can help you make it to that future, would you like to go? Yes. Let's start making our way. And then guess what? You'll begin to walk that way together. What if you're in a situation with, maybe it's a friend and it's a spiritual struggle. Right now, your friend is in a place where they're struggling spiritually. And they don't even know what tomorrow will hold. And they're just downtrodden and they're lost. They're weak, they're tired, they're weary, they're worn out. Maybe you're there right now. Maybe you've been there. I've been there, and I've walked with friends who are there. And so sometimes, they're just too exhausted to carry their own faith. And it takes faith in this world, friend. You don't have to be a person who is deeply convicted about your spiritual beliefs, but faith is all around us. You have to have some kind of faith to keep moving forward, because tomorrow is unknown. There's so many unknowns in life that require some aspect of faith. And sometimes someone's too weary to carry their own faith. So I have to do is I ask if, I'll carry your faith for you. I'll carry it a mile. I'll carry it 2 miles. And what is that message that's sent? That sent is this. We're going someplace. We're moving forward, right? And maybe the state right now is bleak. It seems hopeless. It seems out of reach, dark. But that's not where we have to remain. So I will walk a mile or 2 miles or 3 miles with you so that we can move out of this state, move into a better, brighter, hopeful future state. Would you like to do that? Yes. Well, let's walk. That is leadership that takes myself out of the equation. It's not about me at all. You say, well, Nate, yeah, you're just helping someone out. Of course it's not about you. But isn't that what leader is? A leader is someone who helps others to reach somewhere that's better than today. That is the heart of leadership. Leadership is discovery. You have to discover where you desire to go and take others with you. You have to then maintain and create influence to reach that state and then achieve it. It's all about shared purpose. So as we progress as leaders, let us walk in humility. And it was C.S. Lewis who said that the humble person isn't thinking about humility. Not even, it's interesting, when humility is an interesting thing, because if you say, well, I'm a humble person, you can't really say that, because if you say that, that means you're thinking about yourself. But C.S. Lewis said that the humble person isn't thinking about humility. The humble person isn't even thinking about him or herself at all. Out of the equation. You say, well, what about my needs? Do I just forget about them? Do I set them aside? No, you have to meet your needs. There's a difference between meeting your needs and being so self-focused that you don't have the vision to accomplish the goals. When you focus on reaching the goals and meeting your needs along that journey, you become more attractive. Your transparency, your vulnerability, your decision to walk alongside of people rather than simply just telling people what to do because you look good, it's a world difference. I found this in my own business. I found recently I've had a few new hires, and every single one of them said, "Nate, so glad to be in this environment." And it's not that Nate is great. It's just that I try to create an environment where people can thrive, where they can do their best possible work. And I want to be the kind of person who lays the vision out of the future and says, here are the resources and tools I want to be able to provide for you. And then I want to support you and edify you. That means to build you up so that you can reach your potential. Now, who doesn't want to work in that environment? This is really the picture, I think, that is so attractive in leadership, and it drives me forward. It's not about me. It's about the collective ability of what we can do. And if we can reach for that collective ability, if we can go beyond ourselves, friend, those are game changers. That's a game changer move in effectiveness in leadership. You will be so attractive as a leader. You'll be so attractive when you focus on how can we collectively blaze into heaven. Friend, well, that's it. This is a short one today, but that's a focus today, is focusing on taking ourselves out of the equation. And I know that we can do this together. I can't wait to see you again. I'm Dr. Nate Sala, and this is A Call to Leadership. Well, my friend, thank you for joining me on this episode of A Call to Leadership. If you've been listening, you've probably heard me talk about our accounting and advisory business. And this show was actually born out of that business, those relationships. I found that entrepreneurs and professionals were missing aspects of their leadership that fed into their bottom line and helped their businesses be successful. If you're in that place where you feel, oh my goodness, my tax person or my accountant, I can't find them, or maybe the service wasn't up to my expectations, do not despair. I'll leave how you can find us in the show notes.